Hello everyone out there in the wastelands. I am looking at Fallout 76, the beta years. Now, I am looking completely unbiasedly and I am giving you the facts about what is and isn't in the game. So this is one of the big ones. This is one of the main things that you are going to be doing on a very constant basis in Fallout 76. And this is fighting. I will also be looking at VATS, and I will be looking at the difference between PvE and PvP. So this might be a slightly longer video than the rest, but there is a lot of information to get to. And let's start with the main items, which are the weapons. Now there are two weapon types really that you are going to have access to, which are melee and ranged. Weapons can be found lying around, can be looted from dead mobs and chests, or they can be crafted if you have the right materials and you have access to a workbench. Most weapons can also be upgraded at workbenches, provided you have a schematics for an upgrade. Now, just to kind of show how it works, again, I'm not going to put in any spoilers of any kind. I'm not going to talk about the story or anything like that. But I have played the game with two separate characters, just to see if kind of the start was the same for both. And my first character literally stepped out of the vault, and there was a dead NPC practically at my feet with a note and a machete. So I took that machete, and that was my first weapon until I was able to get to the first camp and really build my own or do something with the one that I'd found. The second game I started, I stepped out of the vault and there was no NPC on the floor at all, but there was mini robots shooting at me. So in one instance I was almost given a weapon, but there was nothing to fight. In the second one, I had absolutely no weapon whatsoever with things I needed to fight. So very different intros really, and the weapons were very important there. For anyone who has played a Fallout game in the past, you'll know that fighting is largely focused using the Vats system. Now this is a system which freezes the game and allows you time to choose the body part you want to aim for. You can take out certain body parts, which will then affect how that enemy continues, and it gives you a percentage of how much of a chance you have of hitting that enemy. Now, this being an always online multiplayer game, it's impossible for them to freeze this game every time you push VATS. Now, I know a lot of people that when they play the game, they use VATS as a, oh my god, someone just shot me from the side, I better pause the game and catch my breath so I know what the hell is going on type button. It gives them a chance to stop everything and just survey the scene, see how many other people there are there, and then choose whether they're going to try and fight it or if they're going to run away. They don't have an option now, because the Vats system cannot freeze the game anymore. What it does instead is helpful, but it's nowhere close to the kind of advantage that it used to give. And basically what it does now is it is an automatic aiming assist. It will lock on to an enemy and it will give you the percentage in which you are going to possibly hit them, but you can no longer choose a body part, and the game is still running at full speed all around you. So you do have to be much more ready to shoot when you come across enemies. Now, you still have the option of fighting freehand, and if we're being honest, that is really how you should be using any melee weapons. Using VATS for melee weapons feels kind of redundant, because a lot of the time, if you're fighting an enemy close enough to hit them with a melee, then don't push the button to bring up the VATS, just push the swing button to swing your weapon, because you'll hit them quicker. Guns are definitely something that, if you're not bad at aiming, maybe try using without VATS, because at least if you're freehand aiming, you can aim for the head, and there is definite differences if you hit in the body to if you hit in the head. My experiences, as an example, are I hit a couple of ghouls in kind of the midriff body, and it took 2 to 3 shots to kill them. I was then lucky and hit one in the head, and it died instantly. So if you're using VATS, then you've got a 100% chance of hitting them, but there's no guarantee of where that bullet's going to hit. Whereas at least if you're aiming yourself, you've got a more better chance of going for the head and getting more of a quicker kill. Now, with all this fighting, there is a high possibility that you could die yourself. Now, when you die, you will lose all of your items that are labelled as junk. But all your other items will remain in your inventory. The items you lose will appear in a little bag on the map with a death icon for you to go back and collect them later. But other players in the same game instance as you also have the option, if they come across them, to collect those junk items. Now, they won't receive the same icon as you, so they won't know that they're there. But if they actually kill you, then they will know that they're there, and there's a chance they will just take everything that you drop. Now, I have said in a previous video, specifically the exploring video, that obviously this could be an issue, because we don't know how regularly the junk items are going to respawn, and if they're few and far between, then crafting is going to be an issue, and people may start to try and kill others in the hopes of getting the little bits of junk they can't find. But I'm hoping that's not going to be a thing. Let's be honest, I'm hoping that's not a thing. So let's look at PvE players. Okay, now you are going to be looking for a more traditional RPG open world style game, and for you there are animal based mobs, quite a lot actually. It's quite heavily populated. I have so far come across the classic, I've come across ticks, dogs, mole rats, radroaches. I've come across beavers, squirrels, deer, rabbits. There's a lot. There's an awful lot of different creatures. And some of them will come up and fight you. Some of them will just run away. But they are rather prolific within the world. And I think that is in order to get enough meat and hide so that you can make food items and make and repair your armor. But there's a fair amount, and they're not too bad, but there are also human-based mobs. Now, these are the ones that can get quite difficult. I've come across 3 so far. Ghouls are essentially mindless zombies and they will just run at you and attack you. Scorched look like burnt zombies, but they can use guns. So they can be quite dangerous, because if there's a group of them and 2 of them are meleeing you and 2 of them are shooting at you, if it's just you on your own, that could be a little bit difficult. And then from a distance, I have seen super mutants. I have not attempted because I haven't really leveled up at all, and I just don't think it's worth it for me yet. But they are definitely where the challenge will come in, and the difference between using VAT weapons, using VATs with ranged weapons, or using free-handed melee weapons is definitely gonna be the difference between life and death. Now, the one thing more I'll say for PvE players, it very much falls in me as well. I'm one of those people. The one thing I've noticed is that specifically the human-based enemies appear to be in groups that are slightly larger than I can handle on my own. Now, I'm willing to believe that the enemies don't necessarily go up levels with you. Because if I'm level 10, let's say, and I am with someone who is a level 2, and we are in the area just outside the vault, we are both going to see the same enemies. So how could they possibly have the same enemy be at my level and at their level? It's not going to happen. So the enemies will all be one specific level. And when they respawn, they will respawn at that level every time. So what I am going to have to do, and what other PvE players are going to have to do, specifically if you're playing on your own, you will have to grind a couple of levels, be a couple of levels higher than you need to be, because that will then give you that slight advantage when facing these other groups of human enemies. You know, you've got like 4 or 5 scorched all at level 3. You need to be level 5, maybe 6 to really kill them all on your own and get a decent chance of surviving the battle. As far as PvP goes, all of the players that are logged onto your same game instance as you will appear on your map at all times. There is no real way of knowing who anyone specifically is, because they only appear on the map as a small white circle. But you can see everyone. So, for example, if you bring up the map and you notice that there are 3 small white circles approaching you, then you can prepare yourself knowing that whoever these people are, they're on their way to see me. So it's either going to be good or I'm going to need to defend myself. You know, now I have seen a few people complain about this, in that, well, you're not going to be able to, it's not a true PvP because, you know, they're on a map and blah, blah, blah. But you can see a lot of the other players on your mini-maps in MMOs. So I can somewhat see why they've chosen to do this. You can choose to fight any other players that you wish to, but it is definitely not in your best interest. Now, it feels like they're going for a very specific type of online game. Essentially, if you kill too many human players, you will be issued with a bounty, and your location will appear on the map for everyone to come and find you and collect on that bounty. Now the bounty appears to be caps, and I don't know if that's the right bounty to use, if we're being honest for a minute, just because I could only really find 2 things to do with caps. And, you know, there wasn't an incentive for me to really go and hunt these people down if it's just caps, because I'm not really using caps at all. And if I do, well, I can just sell some of the junk I've got and I will get caps that way. So, you know, maybe it should be atoms, I'm thinking. That would make more sense, because then I can use the atoms to buy new skins for my items. And that would then definitely give me a reason to go and hunt them down. But so far, I have witnessed this once in the beta, and I was surprisingly not killed, which did make me think. Now, as you can see from the video, I receive a message saying this person is now wanted. And I check my map, and rightfully so, he is on the map. He is incredibly close to me. Very, very close. And I decide I'm not going to bother. I've only really just started. I'm not really high enough level to really do anything. So I carry on playing the game, and I can suddenly hear someone walking around my house, and there they are with the bounty on top of them and a gun ready. I kind of swing my axe just to kind of say, go away. Go away. I'm not interested. Go away. And they leave me alone. They're being attacked by robots. I'm not sure if the robots are sent because they're wanted. I'm assuming they are, as kind of a deterrent as well. In case people don't come after you, they'll just keep sending robots at you. But didn't even attempt, didn't take a shot, not once. If we're being honest, it feels like they are doing what they can to try and shy away from PvP. Yes, the option is there, and there are certain areas, I believe, I can't guarantee this because I haven't come across any yet, but I think I did see them in someone else's gameplay, that there are areas where PvP is allowed and you're not penalised. So if you are essentially like PvP centric, then you can go there and fight properly and not be penalised in any way. So that is a good thing for those players. You won't always be punished, but it does definitely feel like they don't want that necessarily in the game as such. Okay, but that's where I'm going to end this video, because there's not much else to talk really about fighting. So please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.